Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Star Delta 9. Welcome back. If you have journeyed with me through part 1 and 2, thank you for allowing me to walk beside you. We've explored energetic sovereignty, the courage to release the rescue identity, and how suffering can become a profound teacher rather than simply an obstacle to overcome. So part 3 has arrived at what I believe is one of the most important and most beautiful stages of the healing journey. Not because it's the end, healing is never fully, truly finished, but because something fundamental changes. You stop trying to become whole and you begin living your wholeness. Carl Jung called this individuation, the lifelong process of becoming the person you were created to be beneath conditioning, fear, and the expectations of others. This is not perfection. This is integration. There is a quietness that begins to emerge after years of inner work. And it has nothing to do with becoming passive. It has nothing to do with withdrawing from life. And it has everything to do with becoming deeply centered. The storms of life may still arrive, but they no longer define your inner climate. There's a time when every criticism unsettled me. Every rejection felt personal. Every misunderstanding demanded an explanation. But something has shifted. Not because life became easier, but because my identity stopped depending on the opinions of other people. There's a tremendous freedom in that realization. One of the most beautiful transformations is that you stop performing healing on yourself. You simply just live it. There is a profound difference between performing peace and embodying peace. Performance always requires an audience. It depends on approval. It seeks validation and it quietly asks, "Do you see how healed I am?" Authentic transformation asks nothing of us. It is simply you no longer trying to appear spiritual. You just become present. You are no longer trying to appear compassionate. Compassion just naturally flows from your heart that is no longer trying to fight itself. You're no longer trying to prove your worth. You already know your worth does not require proof. The trying dissolves into being. I often think about how much energy I once spent trying to convince people, trying to explain myself, trying to help everyone understand my intentions, trying to make everyone comfortable, trying to earn acceptance, or just trying to be enough, trying and trying and trying. Healing quietly asks a different question. What if you are already enough? What if nothing essential is missing? What if the deepest transformation isn't becoming someone else, but removing everything that has covered up the person you've always been? This is where energetic sovereignty becomes visible. It reveals itself in ordinary moments. You leave a conversation when your nervous system says it's time, not because you're angry, not because you're offended, but because you honor your limits. You rest without guilt. You speak only when your words bring clarity, and you become comfortable with silence. You no longer feel compelled to rescue every uncomfortable moment. You understand that silence often teaches us more than endless explanations. You stop chasing people who are committed to misunderstanding you, and perhaps most importantly, you stop abandoning yourself just to remain accepted. There are relationships that nourish your soul, and there are relationships that slowly consume it. The difference becomes unmistakable. Healthy relationships feel spacious. There's a mutual respect. There's reciprocity. There's freedom to grow. Neither person is required to disappear for a relationship to survive. However, in relationships that feed on you, the energy always moves in one direction. You become the caretaker, the emotional regulator, the one who continues giving while receiving very little in return. And for years, I believed that that was love. Today I understand it as something different. Love without healthy boundaries eventually becomes self-abandonment. Compassion without wisdom becomes exhaustion, and giving without reciprocity becomes depletion. And one of the greatest gifts healing has given me is the permission to love others without losing myself. Another profound shift is learning to trust your own rhythm. Our culture teaches us that our worth is measured by productivity. We're praised for constant motion, constant achievement, constant output. But the soul moves differently. Some days you move mountains. Some days your sacred work is simply just breathing enough to remain present. Both matter, both are holy, and both are enough. There is no shame in honoring the sessions of your own life. Nature does not apologize for winter, and the ocean does not apologize for the tide. The heart does not apologize for needing rest. Why should you? Carl Jung believes psychological independence arrives when we are no longer unconsciously governed by childhood conditioning, collective expectations, or the internalized voices that we once thought defined us. That doesn't mean we forget our past. It means the past no longer dictates our future. The wounds remain part of our story, but they are no longer writing the story. We have metabolized the pain into wisdom, and the frightened child within us is no longer driving the car. The protective mask begins to soften, and the false identities begin to fall away, and what remains is something much quieter, something much truer, our authentic self. The shadow does not disappear. It has and is welcome. The fearful parts have not been rejected. They have been embraced. And the parts of ourself we once hid now sit peacefully at the same table. That is wholeness, my friends. Wholeness is not the absence. Carl Jung called this individuation. This is a lifelong process of becoming the person you were created to be beneath all of that conditioning, all those expectations of others. Until next video, share, like, and comment. Namaste, everyone.